before performing this fluid exchange, I replaced the filter and put about 3 quarts of fluid in the pan before starting the vehicle and beginning the flush. That gives you a nice clean push through the filter with new fluid from the initial pickup spot, or the very first place in the circuit for the transmission fluid. So I showed you the fill port there, and then that overflow port on the bottom is actually where you check the fluid on these Toyota 6-speed transmissions. So you add fluid in up here until it comes out the bottom hole, and that'll make sense later on. But so I'm setting up for the fluid exchange. I'm taking off what I'm hoping to be the return line from the cooler. It's a pretty educated guess, but I still want to check first. So I'm going to put a drain line on there and then clamp the tube to the transmission and the drain line together so they both squirt into a waste pan. Then start up the vehicle, and I have it coming out of the cooler. So I've chosen the correct line for my flush. So I'm going to get some longer hose that's clear so I can have a better idea of the condition of the fluid as I do the flush, and then set the line into the waste bucket. And then I fill up another bucket for my bucket pump of a couple of gallons of automatic transmission fluid, and then I can stick that in the fill port and begin pumping when I have somebody else start the vehicle. And then the vehicle is going to pump the fluid out into this bucket while I pump it in with the bucket pump. And I'm going to do that until I like the color coming through the tube and into the waste bucket. So I ran out of fluid in my bucket pump, so we just turned off the vehicle, and then I'm getting a look at it here and top off the put another gallon or so into the pump bucket. And I really like my color. It's already looking really nice and clear and red, and the same as it's going in. The fluid looks the same coming out as it's going in. So I'm going to call that good. Ran just a little bit more through, reconnect the cooler return line, and then I'll be able to check the transmission fluid level. And these transmissions have a pan with kind of a indicator, almost straw-like thing in there that sticks up to the proper level. And so you fill up the pan until it starts draining out that hole and you got the right level. Well, after the flush, I had too much fluid in there, and so it dumped out quite a bit. And you want to get it to the point when it has just a very light trickle with a warm transmission. So I put this back in, warm up the transmission, cycle it through park, reverse, neutral, drive, fill up those circuits, and then let the transmission warm up for a little while, and make sure you got that light trickle out the drain hole. So this is the warm-up period. Your target is 104 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit, or 40 to 50 C. You can measure that however you want, or in my case, what feels like is getting kind of warm. That's really not very hot fluid. Transmissions run a lot hotter. So we're just looking for a range in the transmission when the fluid is warm and it expands. It's just barely trickling out that hole. Once you've done that, you clean things up, start putting her all back together. Start it up, check it for leaks, that kind of thing. Make sure all your connections are good. Put in your splash guards and shields if you had a full splash guard underneath, and put that back on. And then the torque spec for these tires with is 76 foot-pounds, but that's pretty light for aluminum wheels, so I went tighter than that. Well, thanks for watching. I hope you found that informative and that you'll like and subscribe.